How's it going, guys? Topic for today's video: why I feel the zero waste movement is a crock of shit. This video isn't going to be entirely negative. I think there's a lot of really positive takeaways from the zero waste movement. So this is kind of like how the zero waste movement goes. You'll see a video on the internet where somebody basically fits all of their household garbage into a mason jar, not just for a day, not just for a week, but for an entire year. And you may look at that and be like, wow, like that person is doing amazing things. I would certainly half agree with that. I think trying to reduce the amount of household waste that you generate, I think is absolutely fantastic. And they do this by basically refusing to buy products that come pre-packaged. They also recycle materials whenever possible, and they do a lot of their purchases actually using materials and cups and jars and stuff like that that is reusable, as opposed to like a disposable plastic bag. So there's some awesome tips that you can take away from it. But as I've been thinking about it more, there's things that just kind of annoy me about the zero waste movement. So the first thing that really annoys me about the zero waste movement is the actual name, zero waste. You know, the name sounds great. It's like I'm producing zero waste, but that's an inaccurate statement. So a big proponent of doing zero waste is to buy bulk items. So it could be like certain food items, is you buy them in the bulk bins and you use reusable mesh bags. With this zero waste thing, if you're buying in bulk bins, you're still generating waste. The waste that you generate by buying stuff in the bulk bins at the store, the waste stays at the store instead of coming home with you. So we were buying bulk rice at Sprouts, just using their bulk bins and our reusable mesh bags. But how does the rice get to the actual store itself? Do they have a rice paddy in the back of every single Sprouts that basically grows all the rice for their bulk bins? No. The rice comes in bags. It just typically will come in a much bigger bag, like a 50-pound bag, as opposed to maybe a 5-pound bag or a 10-pound bag. So what do you think that the grocery store does when they have finished using that 50-pound bag of rice, after they've filled up that bulk bin multiple times? What do you think that they do with that bag? They still throw it out. You're still generating waste. It's just that you are not bringing the waste home with you. So I think the name zero waste is definitely a little bit inaccurate. They should either change it to less waste, or they should change it to zero home waste, because I think that would be a more accurate perception of what is actually happening. Second thing that really kind of annoys me here, we buy a lot of rice. We go through 10, 15 pounds of rice every single week. So the price of the bulk bin jasmine rice is about $1.50 a pound. Now if I go to Safeway, which is just a short walk from our house, I can buy a 20-pound bag of jasmine rice for $19. So that's only 95 cents per pound. So in order to maintain my zero waste status, I have to buy from the bulk bin and pay like 50% more for rice, which is still generating waste. So it's not zero waste, it's just zero home waste. To me, the actual difference in the amount of waste generated is minimal. But if I buy from the bulk bin at Sprouts, I don't bring that waste home with me. I just leave it at the grocery store. In my opinion, buying from the bulk bin and paying 50% more, or just generating probably a slight more amount of waste just by buying 20-pound bags, to me that doesn't make like a huge difference. Now there are some things that I think are great to buy in the bulk bins. Obviously items that you don't consume nearly as much on a weekly basis or a daily basis. We're still gonna buy red lentils and all different types of beans from the bulk bins, just because we do still like the idea of using these reusable bags. And we don't really need to buy a 50-pound bag of black beans. We're fine with just getting 2 or 3 pounds at a time. The point here is to use some common sense when you're thinking about the actual waste that is being generated from your food, especially when you're buying a lot of that food. So if you're buying things in mass quantities, don't try to be like, I have to be a perfect zero waster, fill up my little reusable mesh bags with rice so that I can maintain my zero waste status. All right, another thing that really annoys me about the zero waste movement is none of the zero wasters talk about improving your dietary choices. The meat and dairy industry are literally some of the most wasteful industries that exist in the world today. All right, I'm just gonna go over a few stats here. 1.5 acres of land can grow 37,000 pounds of plant-based food but only 375 pounds of meat. The amount of excrement or waste or shit from 2,500 dairy cows is equivalent to the waste from a city of 411,000 people. Every minute, over 7 million pounds, 7 million pounds of shit are produced by animals that are raised for food in the United States of America. That's a lot of shit. The meat and dairy industry use 1/3 of the Earth's fresh water. One hamburger requires 660 gallons of water to produce. The meat and dairy industry is incredibly wasteful when it comes to utilizing our natural resources. But with zero wasters, it doesn't really matter. As long as you put your meat and your cheese and your shit like that into a mason jar when you buy it, then it's technically considered zero waste. So I think those are three of the most kind of like glaring contradictions and things that annoy me about the zero waste movement. I still think that it's a generally positive community of people that are trying to actually do something good for the world, but there's a few things that just really don't make sense to me, and I just addressed those in this video. Anyways, if you have any more questions or comments, definitely leave them in the box below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace out.